So the major headline here reads, and I quote, "State spending faces scrutiny over 15.8 trillion naira windfall, citizens' welfare." Also, Yobe residents in panic as health authorities battle Apollo outbreak. And we have here pre-election anxiety, profit-taking wipe 5 trillion naira from the federal government after 160 trillion naira peak. You can go find out all of these across board, and we are going to dive right into the first story. Remember, once again, this part of City Press is proudly brought to you by Maltina, making sure you are nourished and enjoying. So you can sit back, relax, take a sip of Maltina as we gear up for the first story. Now, here we have the first headline we're going to be taking a look at. This one, it reads, and I quote, "2027 poll, 571 billion naira campaign spending limit for presidential and governorship candidates." No fewer than 146 candidates currently are set to be in the race of the 2027 presidential and gubernatorial elections. This could see a collective spending of at least 571 billion naira under the campaign expenditure limits as prescribed by the Electoral Act of 2026. This figure comprises 19 presidential candidates, each with a campaign spending ceiling of 10 billion naira, and 127 governorship candidates, each allowed to spend a maximum of 3 billion naira under Section 92 of the new Electoral Act. Now, the figure is a legal ceiling and not necessarily the required amount each candidate is compelled to spend. A few things to look at. Let me give you a rundown quickly. 19 presidential candidates have a combined spending ceiling of 190 billion naira. 127 governorship candidates collectively spending 381 billion naira. For the National Assembly, each candidate can spend 500 million. For presidential, 10 billion. For governorship, 3 billion. For National Assembly, 500 million. For senatorial candidates, anyone who's vying to be a part of our National Assembly can actually spend 250 million naira. For House of Assembly candidates, 100 million naira, and it goes the same for area council chairmanship candidate, 100 million naira as well. Now, taking a look at such huge figures and the amount, we know that elections is nothing cheap, it's always costly. But the question here is, with a 10 billion naira presidential campaign budget, would it make elections more competitive or more expensive?
That's a very valid question to ask, because honestly, is it about the finances they're spending? Is it about the money they're spending, or the actual work they're about to, or we hope that they put into their governance? Also, another thing to look out is who really benefits from this 571 billion naira campaigns. Are they just, we know what a campaign is, and does it really end there with the billboards, the touring different states, talking about their manifesto? What's the use of a manifesto if in actual sense it is not being implemented?
Exactly, and it's not reflecting in the lives of people. Very wise question, thank you. And when it comes to having an electoral advantage, how they say winner takes it all, highest bidder. Does money, or rather does having more money as a candidate, does it buy electoral advantage?
Of course. I would say yes. Money actually aids a lot of things.
Yes.
To run a political race in this country, in fact, I would say it's not for the faint-hearted. That's why we shared a story recently. It was sometime this year of a woman who faked a kidnap.
Yeah, so she could raise money,
state, right?
Yeah,
is it Kogi? I think it was Ekiti State.
Okay, because she was trying to raise money for her campaign.
Exactly, and people do the most just to ensure that they get money for election.
But this Section 92 of the Electoral Act that is pegging a price, I feel like even putting a price on anything puts these candidates under pressure. Someone might not have up to 1 billion naira, might not have up to 100 million, but they might be willing to work.
Exactly.
Just even seeing that there's meant to be a figure. I know that INEC is trying to make sure that people are not going overboard, but even putting an amount to it, it kind of sets the tone that politics in Nigeria has to do with the whole, added advantage of being financially capable.
Do you think on the flip side, the reason why they actually heightened or hyped the price of these candidacy forms, right, is to sieve out the nooks, anyone from just trying to be in politics?
So yeah, in a bit, someone would argue it could be a type of filter to make sure that people are not just coming there to raise money for themselves or become unscrupulous embezzlers. But in the same vein, I wouldn't lie to you, it's also a country that is experiencing economic downturn. And a lot of people have goodwill and they want to serve. For example, I might want to serve, but I don't have 100 million naira. What do? I'm going to sit back and watch someone who can afford it but doesn't have the required intellectual capacity or goodwill to run for office.
Do you think that's why most of the time these politicians who run for a particular political seat, when they finally get elected, they just want to get their money back?
They just become career politicians. And then we're also seeing another thing. Some of them are starting to enthrone their kids in politics. I'm not going to say too much, but you know, you who's listening, remember you can start to send your opinions. We're not yet taking calls, but for those who want to text via WhatsApp, you're welcome to start sending your opinion on WhatsApp as regards the first story, which is, of course, as regards 2027 poll, 571 billion naira campaign spending limit for presidential governorship for the National Assembly, Senatorial, House of Assembly, and Aerial Council chairmanship candidacy. We're going to quickly take a breather, but before we go, very quickly, I want to know, Ini, when it comes, you asked the question, who really benefits from this, right? I will say, I don't know if anyone really benefits from this huge one, except INEC.
The INEC and the politician themselves, because, I mean, the essence of investing in campaigns to have a positive result of being elected.
But you know, there's only one person who's going to take the crown. So the others who don't, do they really get any return on investment?
So if you're saying INEC, if INEC is getting the money, obviously we know that some of the amount to be transferred to INEC. So is the money used for the electoral reforms? Is the money used to get like equipment? And do you think it's properly used? I mean, based on what we've seen from Osun State, because we saw some complaints of beavers not working. So you know, INEC already transmission and all that.
So INEC already, the federal government always sequesters a huge budget, irrespective of this campaign budget. They already get a huge budget to carry out all of those. So that one is on them. But when it comes to the campaign, you remember we spoke about Governor Alex Otti of Abia saying that if you want a billboard in his state, it's 200 million. Those are the type of things, and he's a working governor. We can't argue. Now, it might not come down to the grassroots when it comes to campaign, except electoral malpractice, which is vote buying. But when it comes to, you know, supporting businesses, billboards, mobilization of campaigns, some people would require logistics to move around. They might pay mobilizers, people to move around. So yes, the money, it trickles in kind of, but I don't know if it really reflects in the lives, directly in the lives of citizens, especially those at the grassroots. If you happen to run a business that, you know, is required during the campaign, your services are required during the campaign, yes, you might be one of the beneficiaries. If not, you and I, the average Joe and Jane, it's not really going to be anything.
Okay, so that's one story we're going to look into. We have another story, but we'll come back to talk about that real soon. This part of City Press is proudly sponsored by Maltina.
Maltina! Across Nigeria, teachers are changing lives every day. Now it's time to celebrate them. Applications for Maltina Teacher of the Year 2026 are officially open. If you're a secondary school teacher, register now at www.maltinateacheroftheyear.com. This year's grand prize winner will receive a brand new Honda SUV, 10 million naira cash prize, capacity development training, school infrastructure, and a 1-year supply of Maltina. Second prize winner gets 5 million naira. Third prize winner gets 3 million naira, and the state champions will receive 1 million naira each.
The Maltina Teacher of the Year is an initiative of Nigerian breweries Felix Ohiwere Education Trust Fund, supported by Union Bank, Airpeace, and Honda. Entries close August 7, 2026. Terms and conditions apply.
There's no place I'd rather be.
Move to the city side of life. We run this city. From your speakers to your screens, we keep the energy alive.
I'm gonna need those names and handles.
Follow at City 1051 on Instagram, X, and TikTok. Check it out.
For insightful discourse on breaking news,
Starting this hour with some breaking news, Ukraine is claiming its forces have
current affairs, and issues shaping the nation.
Somebody that wants to be a leader should know how to convince people so that they can be able to vote for him.
City Press is your go-to spot on Breakfast in a City.
Stop. This is off.
It still sounds good.
It's good, but it's not good enough.
Can I get an Amstel Malta, man?
Being your best lives in the details. Again. Yeah, better. But still not your best. Being your best refines you. Aha, yes, that's it. Being your best is not just about dreaming about it. You also have to work towards it. Amstel Malta. Be your best.
And that is correct. You have to be your best if you are taking a sip and staying hydrated with Amstel Malta. Welcome back. It is still City Press right here on City 105.1 FM. We run the city. The time right now is 7:43 a.m. and we are about to dive into the second story. Be well aware of this. This part of City Press, like I did mention, is proudly sponsored by Amstel Malta, ensuring that you are being your best via the cans or the bottle. So take a sip as we gear up to taking your opinions. I am the Big P.
I am Ini. Welcome to City Press.
And we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube as well at City 105.1 FM, just in case you want to put a face to the voices. Now, the second story, the headline reads, and I quote, 30 months after subsidy removal, FG, federal government spends 30.6 trillion naira, saves 15.8 trillion naira. We know 30 months after President Bola Tinubu removed petrol subsidy and introduced other sweeping economic reforms, the federal government has gone on to spend 30.64 trillion naira as government expenditure to ease effect of its policies, while the policies generated 15.8 trillion naira in savings for the federal government. Now, the federal government said its total increment expenditure between June 2023 and December 2025 was 30.64 trillion naira, which exceeded the 20.4 trillion naira in additional resources available to the federal government from subsidy savings, higher revenue and borrowing by 10.24 trillion naira, which sees a 50.2% increase. A few things to consider. The removal of petrol subsidy, it created a significant fiscal space, but unfortunately did not produce a pool of idle cash for the federal government. Also, when it comes to this topic, savings versus sacrifice, has the 15.8 trillion naira saved justify the economic pain the Nigerians have endured? And also, spending versus impact. If 30.6 trillion naira was spent to cushion Nigeria, the effect of hardship on Nigerians, how much relief did each citizen actually feel or receive? A good question to ask. We don't need to be very complex about this. Has the sacrifice been worth the savings? Have we seen a direct reflection as regards the removal of fuel subsidy? Maybe as that was taken off and Nigerians are groaning under that. Are we seeing a rise in infrastructural development? Are we seeing a rise in educational development? Are we seeing a rise in the betterment of our security situation in Nigeria? These are some of the questions. As much as money has been saved, in what way has it reflected in the life of the citizens of Nigeria? Also, we're talking about 30.6 trillion naira. Where did the money truly go? Like I mentioned, what sector? Was it our healthcare sector? Was it even our foreign relations? Our foreign relations are currently at the lowest. We're not seeing a true reflection. So, do you think the sacrifice has been worth it? I like the exhalation. Okay, so I would ask you, are Nigerians better off today than before, June 2023?
When you have you commute every day, right, from work to different locations in Lagos. I mean, Lagos is Nigeria, and you have relations, you talk to people. Do you think that we're better now?
Even now, I notice when I drive, I'm always staring at my fuel tank. I don't know why.
Are you even you as a Nigerian, are you better now?
So I will say something. Everyone, it's biting everyone. Yes, some might be more comfortable than others. You get what I mean? But no matter how rich you are, especially if you're not in politics, you're going to feel the brunt of the economy.
Definitely.
As a manufacturer, as a civilian, as a worker, just anyone who's out of the political space, you will feel the bite. All right, we go to take a lot of reactions. We see the phone lines have been buzzing. But remember, for those who want to keep it short and precise, please don't send very lengthy messages so we can take as many as possible. You can do that on WhatsApp. WhatsApp number is 0909 916 4403. But if you want to call the phone lines, you have 1 minute 60 seconds only to share your thoughts and opinion. The number is 0700 1051 1051. This part of City Press
is proudly sponsored by Upstone Malta. So grab a can and enjoy the show with us.
Hello, good morning.
Very good morning to you, my fellow family in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Prince YS. Calling you from Musudi, the city in the center of Unified. Yes, I listened to the minister for finance today. I heard what he said, but he had to do the breakdown of even the money need for infrastructure. He should tell us how they spend it, because when you elect, they tell us this trillion is a very rich amount, and the civil servant that when that go to exclude the DC, I want the FCC to find out and they spend money. But it's from day one when you take subsidy, somebody like me and the other have been advocating for taking the subsidy to agriculture. You can feed ourselves. You have fertile land. But what are they doing with agriculture? People are saying we are on, but you have land that don't give us free of charge. Don't go in there because as I'm talking to you, I'm a farmer. If they give free fertilizer to farmer, I'm telling you, it will help a lot. Good morning. God bless you.
Thank you,
Prince YS. 0700-1051-1051 or drop a message on WhatsApp 0909-916-4403. We also streaming live on YouTube and Facebook at City 105.1 FM. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, and good morning to my sister, Registrar.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you. First of all, the issue of the budget for the contestants, political contestants. Can you answer that question? Where is the money going to come from? Is it the federal government that supplying the money? Because I remember in America, it's not financed by the government. It's being financed by entrepreneurship. The big guy that is in America, the billionaires are the one financially, financing the politicians. I don't know what it takes in Nigeria, and I believe that is why I concluded that politics is not for common people. For people that do not have it's only for money back. The way I look at it, and maybe you can explain to me more. Then on the other sector, sorry, remind me your second point.
Okay, the second story.
We spoke about 30 months after subsidy removal, federal government spends 30 trillion and saves 15.
I remember. Thank you very much. You see, the issue of subsidy, believe me, man, between me and you, and to be honest with ourselves, that issue, that word of subsidy is supposed not to arise in this country.
All right, sir.
We have been having a good leader.
Thank you, Alaji.
Leader that concerned about the prosperity of this country.
All right, thank you. Unfortunately,
you have 60 seconds.
Yes, it was well past 60 seconds. You can also text WhatsApp 0909-916-4403. Remember, Amstel Malta is a proud sponsor of this part of City Press, making sure you remain your best. Hello, good morning.
Yes, I greet you guys this morning.
Good morning, welcome to the show.
I think we supporter of your City FM, we are stakeholder. Are we stakeholder?
You would like to think so. You are. Yeah, you listen. You would like to think so.
There's no City FM without you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, listen. I can't be supporting this station right for inception, spending my resources, time and energy, and we are being taken for a ride. Yesterday I felt so bad. Unless CTFM management, I'm not your CEO. I think what happened should not happen. Today, let me say this. And I know the reality. I know how critical all of us were against President Jonathan government. That's why he did it. And Buhari, in the name of analysis, you can't bring somebody who is partisan to your studio and say, telling Nigeria that yesterday was a sad day for me. And maybe it's that you CTFM doesn't know. If you want to bring analysis, don't bring a partisan analysis to the studio. Telling Nigeria that political party does not have a manifesto. It's always APC that have manifesto. That is very wrong. That was very wrong. That was a sad day. Yesterday was a sad day for this situation. Please, you guys should redeem yourself. It was wrong yesterday for sure. Biodun to do that. It's my colleague. That was very wrong.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. So just to clarify that very quickly, we have to bear in mind that there's diversity of opinions. You feel one type of way doesn't mean everyone else feels the same way. Yes, it might hurt you. It might hurt you, but that's life. Variety is the spice of life. As you speak on behalf of some other party or the opposition, there are people who are aligned with, the ruling party,
and that is the spice for a conversation. The disparity of opinions,
and that is what
conversation.
That's what we do at City Press. We give everyone a platform to air their views. If it hurts you, we're so sorry, but for you to try to take a swipe at the management here and saying we should redeem ourselves, please, this is considered an insult to our craft and the management here, and we will not tolerate it. As much as we respect you, Evangelist Osage, respect is reciprocal. Thank you in advance.
Hello, good morning.
Jonathan is my name.
Jonathan, what was that violence for? What was that for?
Too much. We know let they complain. We understand us to speak my own because it's very known at all close. See, let's not talk like Pakistani. The increase in the prices of home is as a result of the economic reality we are facing right now. It's not about filtering anybody. Let's not forget where we are coming from. Everything has virtually increased. Your data has increased. The subsidy they remove. Go and listen to what Ayodele was saying. That they use it to fund increase. Listen to my English. Increase government expenses. That's what he said by himself. And all of you know our expenses have increased. Where are we going to run to? Let's ask ourselves. These people are just here to suffer us. Anyway, it's well. Enjoy your morning.
Thank you, Jonathan, for your comment.
We take a quick look at WhatsApp, and unfortunately I'll be giving a priority to opinions that are on course with today's topic. Jeremiah from Alakoko says, good morning to you guys in the studio. The real question is what measurable development has resulted from the subsidy removal savings, and how much has actually reached the ordinary Nigerians? The government should publicly publish these clear figures showing the savings, where the funds were allocated, and the projects they finance. Nigerians deserve transparency and accountability. Steve Opera here says, okay, so here someone says political differences should never lead to violence. Authorities must investigate and hold those accountable. May peace prevail in Osun State. Timi Tokwe from a Jagama community says, for how long will citizens continue to allow INEC to deceive us with the amount political candidates are expected to spend? Since they've been spending above the stipulated amount, has anyone been prosecuted so as to serve as a deterrent for others? Finally, the report released on the removal of fuel subsidy is baseless and doesn't have any level of transparency and accountability. Can the government explain to Nigerians what NNPC did with 7 trillion naira, even when the national refineries are not functional? Permit me to ask, is there any justification for the removal of the fuel subsidy, which has plunged many Nigerians into more abject poverty? To me, it's all propaganda. God bless Nigeria.
Essays or his essays.
Very long. Please, guys.
We keep saying this.
I beg you.
We keep saying this.
It takes a lot. Ade here says, good morning, City FM. Nigerians, let us start preparing now on a daily basis for the oncoming presidential election. I pray these mushroom political parties in the opposition will collapse and rally round a popular candidate. Without them coming, they will not be able to defeat the APC in the coming election. Let us put an end to the suffering of the masses.
So this person says, it's actually really funny. Oyeka says, anyone that is able to handle OAP backlash can manage relationship. Any and Big P will make a good relationship. I mean,
what does that mean?
It comes with a job anyway. I mean, you can't satisfy everybody, and we understand that when it comes to talking about the state of our nation, it's very sensitive. So we understand when people are aggravated, they are angry. But we always say this: try to be civil. Try to respect people's opinion. We cannot bring just one person always saying, praise mean? Always
know.
anti-government, and it's disparity, like you said. The being variety is actually the spice of life. Have people with different opinion. We can't bring an analyst that always constantly is opposing,
berating the ruling
exactly.
party. There's some
So we
people
need
who
to
align with them, and there are others who do not. But
Exactly.
everyone should get a free and fair platform. We're here complaining that the government is not free and fair to everyone. We have to be free and fair to everyone.
And journalism is, we all know the basis here, not to be biased. So we actually need to be balanced when it comes to disseminating information. You might not like it, but it is part of the conversation. You are free to give opposing opinions when the analyst comes, but do not attack an analyst, please. Let's try to be civil.
All right, we'll take it off right now because we are 1 minute away from going into more exciting times right here on City 105.1 FM. We run the city. Shout out to Amstel Malta for sponsoring this part of the show. Stay nourished, stay hydrated, and be your best by sipping Amstel Malta via the can or the bottle. We're going to get ready for Sports City. We're going to find out the most exciting details from the world of sports.
Definitely. And right after Sports City, we'll be going to Quickie, from Quickie all the way to Battle of the Playlist.
Hey, guys! So,
who do you think is going to win today, BP or I?
The playlist will do the talking.
Exactly.
But let's see what we have lined up. 3 songs go head to head, toe to toe, and we find out what playlist makes the cut. In the meantime, coming up is Sports City. Keep it locked on to City 105.1 FM. We run the city.
Stop. That bass is off.
It still sounds good.
It's good, but it's not good enough.
Can I get an Amstel Malta, man?
cruise to 3-0 win over LASK in first leg win. All right.
And from the world of basketball FIBA qualifiers, the Tigers coach David Fizdale unveils 12-man roster. Also from tennis, we have Cincinnati Open. Top seed Aryna Sabalenka crashes out in round of 16.
All right. Also in the world of tennis, Australian star Nick Kyrgios suspended after failed drug test. They said he tested cocaine.
Yeah,
substance.
Make no just talk. I remember when Yannick Sinner was linked to drug-related situations. He came out to say, he's a cheat, blah blah blah. How it can be now? What goes around comes around, bro.
Yeah, he has accepted responsibility according to him.
But very quickly, do you think these people may have ingested substance they didn't know had like cocaine in it? Maybe someone gave them a drink, an alcoholic drink, or
that was the case of Yannick Sinner.
Okay.
But in the case of Nick Kyrgios, and if you go to his IG post to see what he actually put out there, he himself admits saying take the cocaine. So it's what it is.
Yeah.
So there are two different things.
So he has been given the provisional suspension. We'll talk more about that as we go forward.
Is he Russian?
No, he's Australian.
Sorry for the laugh.
All right,
Greek descent.
Just following that talk, focusing on Arsenal today, La Liga, and talking about Atletico Madrid started their campaign on what that will mean for their season, and a few players in that team. To updates coming out of the Cincinnati Open. As normal as usual, we've got a full buffet here for you on Sport City.
You love the sound? Now follow the story. Join the movement on Instagram, X, and TikTok at City1051.
Relax, mama. I go clean all this your white clothes sharply. Abeg, no be to just clean o. Use hypo comot all the stubborn stains.
Yes, so no grief for stains. Whiten your white with hypo.
Health, they say, is wealth. But when securing good health costs you an arm and a leg, naturally, you hear people scream. Or when you are at the hospital and they insist on a hefty deposit before treatment. Or after receiving the full hospital bill and you realize that it may cost you not just an arm, a leg, but also your birthright.
But when Avon HMO has your back, you won't have to scream "Yepa," cause in the end, we all need people. Visit avonhealthcare.com now to get an Avon Health plan for you and your people.
Avon HMO, empowering you to live a healthier, fuller life.
Before, my family can go 1 week without drama. 1 week, 1 higher. Maggie, love, me and Maggie so good together. Yeah, walking on my Maggie, make tea right. Come with peace, oh, peace, oh. When you come at all, oh, beef, Maggie, love, me and Maggie so good together.
On August 8, 2001, we made a commitment to our nation. A commitment to be there whenever our people wanted to dream bigger, reach higher, and do more. And for 25 years, we've kept that promise. We've helped bring loved ones closer, turn ideas into opportunities, and dreams into reality. Truly, we've come a long way together. Cheers to the next.
There's no place I'd rather. There's no place I'd rather be.
Move to the city side of life. We run this city. Turn up the volume and step into Sports City, your home for thrilling sports talk.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much. 8:07 this morning. It's a lovely Thursday. As usual, the weather is looking good. August is a month for good weather. I really loved how the weather has looked every single day. I've woken up, to life, and we thank God for life. Here on Sports City, live on City 105.1, we run this city. So let's take you through conversations here on the show. Before we go through, let me just read this message here. Someone who is feeling like the way I'm feeling this morning. Where did the message go? Okay, good. Yes, this is who is this? Olakim to say, Onomeda, that's true. Even down to Bagada, my brother, no light since Friday. Okay, the devil will repent first before politicians. Sorry, no vex. Why do you think we need sports gist and banter to cool off? Wes, we're happy you're here with us. So follow the conversation here, and we're asking today, sports cake. Yes, Arsenal do not need Ezri Konsa. Yes, let us know. Thank you very much, Michael. 0909-916-4403 if you agree or disagree with that. So let's get into the Ezri Konsa conversation. Yesterday, we heard the story that he has agreed to join Arsenal. Personal terms were done earlier in the morning. In the afternoon, the story broke that, they and Aston Villa and Arsenal have agreed a £51 million deal. And by evening, more updates came out to say that he has told his teammates at Aston Villa goodbye. He's going to have a medical at Arsenal this morning to complete a deal, possibly, before, kick-off. I don't know if it's going to happen before Arsenal's first kick-off tomorrow night against Coventry. But you look at Ezri Konsa, he's a man who has grown as a player from his days at Villa, broke into the England national team so well that he had to be at the World Cup for England. How does it fit into Arsenal's offensive system?
Well, the good thing about Ezri Konsa is the fact that he can play in multiple roles within the backline. He can play as a central defender, he can play as a right back. And the good thing about Arsenal, the set of the team in the last number of seasons under Mikel Arteta, his recruitment, it's been amazing because he not only goes for players who can play a single role, he goes for players who can play multiple roles within the squad should injury arise at any point in time. And it's a very good thing for the gentleman and also for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal as a major football club, because obviously you can see the improvement in their signings, especially knowing that yes, they are the champions, and it just goes to show what the ambition is for the upcoming season. For Ezri Konsa, he won the Europa League last season. He was at Villa under a manager who once managed Arsenal in Unai Emery. What a step up this would be for the gentleman, but then he should know that he's up for competition, because if you look at the Arsenal defense lineup, it is star-studded, so he should be up for it.
You see, when I saw the signing, I'm looking at him talking about fitting into Arsenal's defensive system. I feel like for a long time, Arteta has always gone for central defenders who can maybe play fullback. What happens to signing proper fullbacks? I don't think Arsenal has any fullback anymore. All of them are centre backs.
All of them are centre backs with the ability to play other roles.
But
because
how they play.
He started as it might look so, but then again, it's up to Mikel Arteta. Maybe tactically it works for him in certain games, or maybe he has actually looked at it as a way to go. And if he succeeded last season with it, he might just embrace the same level of success, or even a higher level of success with the same tactics this season. Miles Lewis-Skelly, see what he did in the Community Shield, or at the Community Shield this past weekend against Manchester City. This is a gentleman who started life at Arsenal as a midfielder, from what we heard, eventually getting into the first team last season. We saw what he did at left back. Alafieri can also play left back. Hincapié can also play left back and centre back. But I think to have a manager who can actually mold this team into a formidable unit with players who can play multiple roles, it's a positive, more of a positive than a negative.
You know why I'd say there's an issue. There are matches this season where sometimes Arsenal's wingers are not really in the game. When things happen like that, most times teams will actually rely on their fullbacks to help support the attack. He rarely has those guys. They have their days where they come on, but more often than not, I don't think Arsenal cannot have fullbacks actually whipping crosses to make assist and all of that. It doesn't happen. So I think he limits the way he plays. He limits the way the defense actually sometimes helps the attack. I know on one or few occasions you have a Alafieri bombing into the box, to score a goal like he did in the Community Shield. But how often will that happen? Going forward. So I think Arteta should try and broaden the way he signs his defensive recruitment. He needs to do that. But that's what Ezri Konsa is at this point in time. But he's a man. Ezri Konsa comes in at a time where William Saliba is injured. Right now, there's Gabriel Magalhaes. There's a young man who is also playing in that midfield. Mosquera. Okay. There's an Hincapié. There's a Calafiori that could play there. Timber is not a centre back at Arsenal. He's a right back. Now that he comes, when Saliba returns, what happens to Konsa and also the rest of all these central defensive players?
Well, I'll tell you something a lot of people may not be seeing at the moment, and it is the fact that I think Arsenal are ready to listen to offers from Real Madrid for William Saliba. That's what I'm saying. Not Gabriel. I think William Saliba is the go-to man. A lot of our top clubs, especially Real Madrid, have not hidden their desire to get the services of William Saliba. So getting Konsa in is a way of saying, let's see how we can inject you into the squad. If you fit in very nicely. Konsa did well at the World Cup, and he has Premier League experience. We saw what he did at Villa last season. I'll reiterate that over again. Won the Europa League. Yes, and definitely he's the kind of player. He's tough. He has grit. He's good in the air. He's not one you can just easily bully off the ball. So he is the kind of defender that Mikel Arteta can work with. So what would happen, as much as it's going to hurt Mikel Arteta, but then sometimes you do business, you balance things on and off the field of play, also financially. So if Real Madrid comes to the services of Willy Saliba, I don't think it's going to hurt Arsenal more to let him go because of the arrival of Ezri Konsa. But before that time, it'd be nice to see what the partnership between Saliba and Konsa would be, what the combination of Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes would also be. So it gives us now an array of options heading into the new season. But like I said, if Real Madrid decides to cash in, or to table an offer for Saliba, Arsenal won't hesitate not to let him go.
Oh, okay. I don't think losing your best centre back is actually the way that Arsenal should be business going at this point in time. But let's see what Arsenal will do, as they continue the transfer window.
So, speaking about what they're going to continue doing as regards the transfer window, do you think Arsenal are, focusing more on defense and neglecting attack?
Well, it might appear so at the moment, but I think if there's anything Arsenal needs to focus on, it has to be the attack line. Not too many people were really confident and comfortable having Victor Gyökeres in the Arsenal setup. At a point in time, it was between Gyökeres and the gentleman who eventually went to Manchester United. Was Benjamin Sesko. Yes, he struggled as far as I'm concerned. They're talking about the Arsenal striker in Gyökeres. He didn't really, hit the ground running as a lot of people expected. Scored more goals against the smaller teams than he did against the big guns. But this season, I don't think Arsenal fans have the confidence in him to actually lead the line. They want somebody who is a more proven goal scorer. Yes, he seems to be a proven goal scorer in the Portuguese league before he joined over at Arsenal. But we saw what happened last season. He struggled. Well, 14 goals and maybe 15 goals in all competition. Not really the kind of input you'd expect to see from a striker that was signed for that amount of money at a club like Arsenal. Yes, they won the league. Arsenal are looking to see if they can get a more proven goal scorer in Victor Osimhen. We heard of the talks last week. I'm sure before the end of the transfer window, something is going to give. Yeah, the likes of Gabriel Jesus might leave for Napoli, but we don't really know what's going to be like for the striker that they got from Sweden last season. So I think as it is right now, no doubt Arsenal have been focusing on the defense, but they should focus more on the attack.
Me, I will answer that question to Big P. Yes, they're neglecting the attack. Yes, the big yes.
But I mean, they did well in the last season, so maybe Arteta has a good plan. You never know.
But also, I'll tell you this: a lot of coaches these days don't really focus more on getting an out-and-out striker. They depend more on wingers who can actually cut in and score. That's what we've been seeing across so many clubs. If you look at Bayern Munich, yes, they have Harry Kane, but they have players from the wings who can cut in and score. They got Diaz from Liverpool. He was one of the reasons why they stay by Bundesliga champions. If you look at so many top clubs in Europe, they have players who can cut in. Kvaratskhelia does the same thing for PSG. Dembele is not an out-and-out striker. He can cut in and score. Desiree Doué is not an out-and-out striker. He can cut in and score. So that's what the modern day football is like under majority of these managers.
So you think maybe Arteta might be going for a jack of all trades, not just limited to, in case you
just
find
like it is with the defenders.
Well, exactly. I don't have a UEFA Pro license or AOB license, but as a manager, I would always get an out-and-out striker who give me at least 30 goals. 30 goals, the least.
How many do we have in the market today?
The least goals you give me is 30
between
goals.
The age of 22 and 26.
I know that, like you said, I know they are not much, but you have a Liverpool, they have two strikers for them. One is injured at this point in time. Isak is played, so I think Arsenal, there's no Simone available, so Arsenal can actually make that happen.
You're like Galatasaray here.
For Aston Villa, they've been doing a whole lot of replacement in this transfer window. You've gotten the likes of Tielemans have left. They are looking to replace him. I don't think they have a proper replacement for him. Brendan Rodgers too. It's Hemmings, from the youth team. Hemmings is not looking like a good replacement, by the way, for him. I wonder what they are going to actually get to replace Ezri Konsa at this point in time. But we'll take a look at what they're going to do for the transfer window. Also, if they get to sell Watkins, they might also need to replace him too.
Sure.
But don't forget, like we're asking today on Sport Kick Street Verdict, Ezri Konsa is not the player that Arsenal need. Let's step into the La Liga. We saw Atletico Madrid against Malaga yesterday on Late Edition. We were talking about the opening half yesterday that was quite not good for Atletico Madrid. But during for the rest of the match, do you think they did better in the second half and we said they were impressive?
Well, eventually they did better. The first half was drab, was boring. To begin your season played at home at the Riyadh Air Metropolitano Stadium, starting a back five, it made me question the desire of the manager, especially knowing they got their lowest point tally last season. You'd expect him to be bold enough enough to actually embrace the game, take the game to a newly promoted side in Malaga. But then again, Diego Simeone being Diego Simeone, started very cautiously. He started with the back five, but I also saw Ademola Lookman up front leading the line is something we know he can do. But I also think sometimes he plays better from the wings. But then again, knowing the situation concerning Julian Alvarez, it's understandable why Ademola Lookman was put as the go-to man. 4 goals up front right there. So eventually a 2-0 victory was after a boring first half. They had their new signing Kangin Lee had to come on board. We talked about it that for things to change, he needed to come on. You and I talked about it. Eventually he came on for Carlos Martins. Lovely strike. That strike was out of this world, and I want to believe with that he definitely has announced himself as the go-to man. If he can do that consistently for the next number of games, who knows, he might just have the single best season of his career so far as a club footballer as it is.
Now you mentioned Kangin Lee announcing himself as a formidable attacker, but what about Ademola Lookman? Do you think he's ready to become Atletico's main attacking weapon?
I don't know. Ademola Lookman had chances yesterday. I think at some point in time fatigue, he felt pretty exhausted, and then I looked at Ademola Lookman, especially towards the end of the game. He had an opportunity, about 2 opportunities where he was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, indecision, he almost didn't know what to do. The other one, it felt like he was really exhausted. He ran out of ideas completely. He was completely exhausted, like, what's going on? You were into the World Cup, you were, I wouldn't know if you visited Nigeria though, but at least he had time to go on vacation, to rest, and then join the club in pre-season and all whatnot. What is that? So I was really disappointed. So if he's going to put up that kind of performance, that I don't think he should be relied upon for goals.
Maybe he got a call from home, his Nigerian folks. I
don't think so.
So
what is this? Lookman wasn't really impressive.
He wasn't take care of his mental health.
He wasn't really impressive, especially in the second half. Yes, he put himself in some promising positions, but eventually all of them came to nothing. So if it's to be the go-to man for goals, he needs to make the most of the opportunities that comes his way. We know he can do it, but it's still early days. Let's see what happens.
All right, after seeing the magic by Atletico yesterday, do you think, the edge over Malaga, do you think they're in fit form to compete with Real Madrid and Barcelona?
I honestly don't think so. I think Barcelona, despite the fact that they still do not have a striker, they played a friendly game yesterday, by the way. There's an Egyptian striker that they signed from Al Ahly. He scored against Al Ahly yesterday. I think that game ended 2 or 3 goals to 1. Immediately he put his hands up in the air to apologize. I don't think that should be the go-to man for goals, but being Barcelona have ways of turning youngsters into superstars, and they do so very early in their careers historically. So I will not be surprised if that boy can't show that the responsibility, not because he's that good enough, but because of the system, and you play under a manager that makes you believe that, hey, you can do it. In Hansi Flick has ways of flicking things around and making your head feel bigger than it is in actuality on the field of play. So that's why Yamal is what it is today. So I saw a bit of that Barcelona game, 2 goals to 1, and it was a friendly game, and they still don't have a striker. It's a worry, but I still think Flick can do something. Looking at this Atletico Madrid side, I still think that Barcelona side without the striker can still beat them. So if you ask me if they're up for it, I'm not even going to compare this Atletico Madrid side with Real Madrid. Real Madrid are coming for every title in Europe this season. Take it from me. The likes of Vinicius Junior, Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe had to resume 2 days before his original scheduled date, just to show how serious they are to train. With the Real Madrid side, they have Diomande. They have players who are up and ready to run for Coach Jose Mourinho. They've looked at me to say, we want to play for you. So it's going to be a very tough season. Atletico Madrid for me are still going to be in their usual position, which is behind Madrid and Barca.
The man that Michael made reference to is Hamza Abdel Karim.
Thank you very much.
Season he has been quite good for them. In 5 matches, he has scored 4 goals for this Barca team. I'm sure when Barca were signing him for 1.3 million pounds, that was part of the conversation. Oh yeah, we'll sell him. Oh, yeah, arrange friendly. Let's play you friendly. We'll play friendly match together,
and has lived up to expectation.
And that's what it has been at this point in time. Don't worry, we'll still be coming with more updates from the transfer world. In Cincinnati Open in tennis, Sabalenka, God. So we were here yesterday. I think we saw the tie. We're like, oh yes, coach is doing well. And I said, see, you better behave yourself in these tournaments. And just when we thought she was going to push through, she has been knocked out of the round of 16. She has been knocked out. What's wrong with the world number this season?
I think there's something wrong with her mentally. I think there's something wrong with her. She has the ability, but it's sad that usually when she gets to this stage of a tournament, she becomes shaky. She becomes, I don't know what it is.
It's somewhat this particular season. Maybe she should just go get married. Wow. She's engaged. She's planning to get married. I feel like she's distracted.
What if she doesn't? What if it's the engagement that is even making her worry?
So she should bring the
us.
No, she should get a boost for her career. She break up the engagement. No, that would be unfair. People get married and do a lot better in their businesses, not necessarily in sports.
Right.
Yes.
So you think she could take a break and then venture into other things?
Maybe, but she shouldn't be put out of action.
That thing, so let her get married.
She shouldn't be put out of action.
She's engaged.
She shouldn't be put out of action. Like Damlo did to Naomi Osaka, and then Naomi Osaka is trying to get a Grand Slam, even playing the Grand Slam final. Anyway, she lost to Sofia Bielek, a 20-year-old lady from Czech Republic, 7-6, 6-4. The second set was shocking because as she raced to a 4-1 lead, it was somehow bottled everything. Sofia Bielek got back into down 4-4 and eventually taken down 6-4 to book her spot in the quarterfinals. Her first ever WTA quarterfinals. For Kostya knocked out Mira Andreeva, one of the Grand Slam winners in women's tennis in 2026. 6-4, 6-love, 6-2 to book her spot. Other winners saw Coco Gauff, Elena Rybakina, Amanda Anisimova book spots in the round of 16. And Anisimova is going to face Jessica Pegula at 6 p.m. later this evening. Nico Swiatek will face Elena Rybakina 12 midnight Niger time.
So this is what I just need to expand more on what I meant. I think she should get married at this point. She announced her engagement a few months back, and I know that she's making plans to get married. The date is not. But I sometimes, when you're in a funk, you should just maybe step outside for 1 or 2 tournaments.
Sure.
Do that. Maybe either get married or spend more time with your partner. Sometimes it's time you spend with people that are close to you that helps reinvigorate you.
Results in the pregnancy. What will she do? She'll be out for another how many seasons? Why?
I'm not saying she should get pregnant. And I never said so.
But she's getting married. What if that's what she wants? I want to have the family. Stop my family. Don't put people under pressure about rushing an engagement. On my focus, are you married? Are you engaged?
I'm engaged to my job.
Yeah.
Sports pick today, street verdict. Ezri Konsa is not the player Arsenal need. You know what, Michael? Let me just start this time around today on this one. I would say he's not the man Arsenal need. I've looked at that Arsenal team. I saw Arsenal last season, how well they did defensively. Sometimes, most of all, they're like, this team is too defensive. They actually need them to be more on your offensive attacking. And if, like I said before, if they're going to get defensive reinforcement, I needed them to look into the transfer window and get wing backs or full backs that can actually help also support the attack and bring another dimension to their play. Arsenal is not doing that. If you look at the team that Arsenal are actually pushing forward, they've got an Nkampi in that squad. You've got you got a Marquinhos in that team also at the back. Mosquera, you've got the Ben White who's in that team. Ben White is the centre back. Forget about those right back position he has been playing. He started as a centre back. There's a Gabriel, there's a Timber, and I look at all these things. I'm like, this is top heavy in that central defensive role. I think Arteta should have either signed a proper right back coming into the season, rather than sign someone who actually can maybe help me in left back or right back. He's not a player that Arsenal need at this point in time. Also for Ezri Konsa, he should have just remained at Aston Villa, because coming to Arsenal, Saliba is going to be there this season. He will not be sold. So this is not a man that they need. They need someone who will help the team offensively, not adding more numbers to their defensive line.
Everybody agrees Arsenal needs a player offensively who's going to lead the line and do a lot better than Victor Gyökeres did last season, and perhaps will forever do for Arsenal. Yes, I believe Arsenal can get that in Victor Osimhen. But if you talk about needs, Arsenal needs Ezri Konsa in defense, and I'll tell you why. They have players who have suffered injury issues or either loss of form or fitness. Calaferi at some point in time lost form, lost fitness last season. He was in and out of the squad. Miles Lewis Kelly at some point in time couldn't break into the first 11. Eventually was shoehorned into midfield towards the end of last season and eventually found his footing. He has continued the same thing. We saw him in the Community Shield. We've seen the likes of Yuren Timber picking up injuries here, there and everywhere. We know he's a player of high quality. Perhaps if he's able to shake it off, he can be one of the mainstay players of Arsenal heading into the next season. And when you consider the injury issues to Saliba and the fact that Gabriel sometimes can pick up injuries, if you get an Ezri Konsa who doesn't have any record of being out injured, especially for a long period of time, he's one of those flaky players who made things happen for Aston Villa last season. If you can come in with that level of fitness, I think defensively Arsenal will look back and say, you know what, we're sorted. So when you talk about needs, definitely he's someone they truly need, because as it is right now, Timber is still out injured. No return date has been fixed. Ben White, yes, we saw a bit of him, but then again, has he really performed consistently like Ezri Konsa? I don't think so. I think Konsa is someone that Arsenal really needs, especially if they are to at least defend the Premier League title next season.
So do you foresee Konsa scoring a couple of goals?
But almost all the defenders for Arsenal scored last season, especially Mikel Arteta. There's a way that they set up their team, especially when there's a set piece from a corner kick. So it's possible he can actually add that to his game. We didn't see much of that with Konsa for Aston Villa, but he could do it for Arsenal this season.
All right, messages here. Show me Kende says, with this strong backline Arsenal have before and still buying another defensive player, I think this team is ready to collect the league back to back. Okay, all right. Chijioke Godson says, another excellent performance from my darling Barca. One more signing and we're geared for the new season. Aston Villa are the new Ajax of the Premier League. They've sold half of their first team, and hopefully they don't turn to Ajax, who are struggling till this day. Okay, this is Okonokpolo Asimasa. I beg, if Kwanzaa isn't needed, who again? Onome, reinforcement is good, and it also brings his own dynamics to the team. On another note, does Arteta really improve players, which is the best midfield at the moment going into the new Premier League season? Arsenal's midfield is looking like the best midfield going into the new Premier League season. With adding Guimaraes, it's actually looking like so. This is Adegoke Adeshola. A good job from Arsenal for getting replacement for Saliba. Signing Konsa is a good development. It shows Arsenal has changed from old Arsenal, who did not sign players. Injury to Ben White, Timber always made it needful to sign Konsa, so they need him more than anything. All right. Empathy.j says, we want to know more about Man United transfer news. But yes, okay, well, they're looking to get Baleba at this point in time. I think that's a major target at this point to help improve their defensive midfield situation. Arteta collecting defenders is like Infinity Stones, proper menace. I see Avengers reference there. Jeremiah Fumalakoko, nice one from you. Okay, you want to read that one?
No, so Temi Tokpe from Ottawa, I beg your pardon, David from Ottawa says, "Nalai, nobody injected a drug unknowingly as suggested by Big P. Nick, Tigbe Oja and Oja TJ. Shebi, he was running his mouth some time ago, just like Michael said, saying others are doing drugs. Now, Arteta is wicked. Imagine him building a rock of Gibraltar just to oppress the gate of hell in Man U, Red Devils, Chelsea, and the rest. Hey, Big P shouldn't go there because Barcelona will dismantle both Madrids."
Okay, erecting the Stonehenge.
Wow.
Thank you so much for your contributions. Appreciate that. Tomorrow again is another day with us here on Sport City. 8 a.m. is a time once more across all social media platforms. We're at City1051. Guess what? The show is not done because Breakfast in the City is still here with you all the way to 10 a.m. And if I'm not wrong, at some time later today, I think 9 o'clock hour, you've got Battle of the Playlist coming through. Who's playing today? Who's playing?
Ini and I are playing, and Ini reminds me this is the only time we're not friends. I think now I'm taking it seriously. We're not. It's not a friendly match. Okay.
When was the last time you won?
One time I made Baida one time. See, we have to stop streaming because I will press your neck.
Win today. Just win today. That's
winning Fred. How do you think we hate that, Joe?
1051.
I'ma keep it straighter than a ruler. You said that I'm a pretty mommy chula. So put some eyes on me to keep me cooler. I know my diamonds look like scuba. Everything bless, hallelujah.